Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher who lived in the 19th century. He was a man who thought very deeply about life, about what it means to be human, and about how we can live better, more fulfilling lives. He wrote many important books, but one of his most famous is called Thus Spoke Zarathustra. This book is not like a typical philosophy text. It is written more like a story or, even a poem. Nietzsche himself called it a book for everyone and no one, suggesting that its message is universal, yet only a few might truly grasp its profound depths. It is a guide to thinking about our values and our purpose in a world where old certainties are starting to fade away. The book invites us on a journey. It asks us to question the things we have always been told to believe. It challenges us to think for ourselves, to be brave in our thoughts and in our actions. Nietzsche knew this was a difficult task. Many of us prefer to follow the crowd, to accept the rules without asking why. But he believed that true happiness and meaning could only be found by those who dared to walk their own path. Thus Spoke Zarathustra is his map for this journey, a collection of ideas and stories designed to awaken the potential that lies dormant within each of us, just waiting for the courage to emerge into the light. In the introduction to the book, written by his sister Elisabeth Förster Nietzsche, we learn about the personal context of this great work. She tells us that Nietzsche felt a deep sense of solitude when he wrote it. He felt misunderstood by the world around him, like a man speaking a language no one else could comprehend. This feeling of being an outsider, however, did not lead him to despair. Instead, it fueled his creativity. He channeled his loneliness into creating a work of art that would speak to future generations, to people who might be ready to hear his message about overcoming ourselves and creating new values for humanity. This is a book about courage. It is about the courage to face life without the comfort of old illusions. It is about the courage to find meaning in a world that can often seem meaningless. Nietzsche wanted to give us a new kind of hope, not a hope based on promises of another world, but a hope rooted in this earth, in our own lives, and in our own power to create something beautiful and strong. He wanted us to become artists of our own lives, shaping our character and destiny with the same care and passion that a sculptor gives to a block of marble, creating a masterpiece from the raw material of our existence. The main character of the book is a man named Zarathustra. Nietzsche chose this name carefully. The original Zarathustra, also known as Zoroaster, was an ancient Persian prophet who lived thousands of years ago. He was one of the first thinkers to see the world in terms of a great struggle between good and evil. For Nietzsche, this was very significant. He believed that if the first Zarathustra created this moral framework, then his new Zarathustra would be the one to overcome it. It was a clever way of showing that humanity was ready to move beyond these old ideas and create a new understanding of life, a new set of values for a new age. Nietzsche's Zarathustra is a wise man who has spent 10 years living alone in the mountains. In deep contemplation, he has been thinking about humanity, about the sun, and about his own wisdom. He feels that his wisdom has become like a honeycomb, so full that it needs to be shared with the world. He decides to leave his cave and his animal companions, an eagle and a serpent, to go down to the towns and cities to teach people what he has learned. This journey from the solitude of the mountains to the bustle of the marketplace symbolizes the philosopher's duty to share insights, even when the world may not be ready to listen. When Zarathustra arrives in the first town, he finds a crowd gathered in the marketplace, waiting to see a tightrope walker. He decides this is the perfect audience for his first teaching. He does not want to speak to the wise or the powerful, but to the ordinary people. He wants to plant a seed in their hearts, a new idea that can grow and transform them. His message is not about gods or heavens, but about the earth and about human potential. He comes not as a savior promising an easy life, but as a teacher offering a challenging path towards a greater form of existence, a more noble way of being. Zarathustra's choice to leave his solitude is a powerful lesson in itself. It is easy to feel wise when you are alone, away from the messiness of human society. The real test is to bring that wisdom into the world, to engage with people, and to try to make a positive difference. Nietzsche shows us that true wisdom is not something to be hoarded like treasure. It is something to be given away freely. like the sun gives its light. Zarathustra's journey down the mountain is a call to all of us to share what we have learned, to connect with others, and to help humanity take its next step forward in its long and fascinating evolution. The central idea that Zarathustra wants to teach is the concept of the Superman, or Übermensch in German. This is perhaps Nietzsche's most famous and most misunderstood idea. It does not mean a person with supernatural powers, like in a comic book. It is not about physical strength or dominating others. The Superman is a symbol for a new goal for humanity. For a long time, people looked to God or the afterlife as their ultimate goal. Nietzsche believed that this focus on another world made us devalue this life, this earth. The Superman is a goal we can strive for here and now on this planet. Zarathustra tells the crowd, man is something that shall be overcome. He means that our current state as human beings is not the final stage of our development. Just as apes evolved into humans, humans can evolve into something greater. This evolution is not a biological one, but a spiritual and psychological one. It is about overcoming our weaknesses, our pettiness, our desire for simple comforts and safety. The Superman is the person who has conquered their own inner chaos and created their own values. They are the master of themselves, living life with passion, creativity, and a profound sense of purpose. So, what does it mean to become a Superman in practice? It means embracing life in its entirety, with all its joy and its suffering. The Superman does not run from pain or difficulty. They see it as an opportunity for growth, a necessary part of becoming stronger. They are not guided by the opinions of the crowd or by old inherited rules of what is good and evil. Instead, they listen to their own inner voice and create a moral code that affirms life and promotes their highest potential. They are like an artist, and their life is their greatest work of art, a testament to what a human being can achieve. The Superman is a profoundly hopeful and inspiring idea. It tells us that we are not finished beings. We have within us the capacity for incredible growth and self-transformation. Nietzsche is not giving us a set of rules to follow. He is giving us a vision to aspire to. The path to becoming a Superman is unique for every individual. It involves self-discipline, courage, and a relentless desire to improve. It is about saying yes to life in all its complexity and striving to become the best possible version of ourselves, not for the sake of a reward in heaven, but for the glory of life itself. A key part of Zarathustra's message is his critique of old values, particularly those that came from Christianity. Nietzsche believed that for centuries, Western civilization had been guided by a morality that was, in his view, life-denying. He felt that values like humility, pity, and obedience taught people to be weak and submissive. They encouraged people to see this world as a place of suffering and to place all their hopes in a blissful afterlife. This prevented humanity from reaching its full potential on Earth. It made people devalue their bodies, their passions, and their own creative power to shape their destiny. Zarathustra declares that God is dead. This is not a triumphant shout of an atheist celebrating the absence of belief. It is a sorrowful observation about the state of modern culture. For Nietzsche, the belief in the Christian God had been the foundation of European morality for 2,000 years. But he saw that in the modern scientific world, this foundation was crumbling. People were no longer able to believe in the old stories with the same conviction. This created a huge problem. If God is dead, then where do our values come from? Without a divine source, we are left in a dangerous state of meaninglessness, which Nietzsche called nihilism. Nietzsche feared that without a replacement for these old values, humanity would drift into a state of apathy and despair. People might simply live for comfort and entertainment, with no higher purpose to guide them. This is why the idea of the Superman is so important. It is the new goal that can fill the void left by the death of God. Instead of looking to the heavens for meaning, humanity must now look to itself. We must create our own values, values that celebrate strength, creativity, health, and a love for this earthly life. This is a tremendous responsibility, but also a wonderful opportunity for growth. Zarathustra's teaching is therefore a call to re-evaluate everything we have been taught to believe is good or bad. he asks us to question whether our values serve life or diminish it. Do they make us stronger, more creative, and more joyful? Or do they make us weaker, more resentful, and more fearful of the world? By challenging us to think in this way, Nietzsche is not trying to destroy morality. He is trying to create a new, healthier morality. He wants us to move beyond the old opposition of good and evil and create a new set of values beyond good and evil, values that are born from a powerful affirmation of life. In the prologue, Zarathustra uses two powerful images to illustrate his ideas, the tightrope walker and the last man. The tightrope walker appears just as Zarathustra begins to speak about the Superman. The rope is stretched between two towers over the marketplace. Zarathustra says, "Man is a rope tied between beast and Superman, a rope over an abyss." This image beautifully captures the human condition. We are in a transitional state, moving from our animal past towards a higher future. The path is dangerous and uncertain, and many will not make it across. The journey requires balance, courage, and focus. Sadly, the tightrope walker falls from the rope, pushed by a jester who leaps over him. As he lies dying, Zarathustra comforts him. He tells the man that he made danger his calling, and there is nothing to be despised in that. He lived with courage, and that is what matters. This episode teaches us that the path to the Superman is filled with risk. Failure is possible, even likely, but it is better to try and fail on this difficult path than to never try at all. The attempt to overcome oneself, even if it ends in tragedy, is more noble than a life lived in passive safety and mediocrity. In contrast to the tragic but noble rope dancer, Zarathustra describes a figure he calls the last man. This is his vision of where humanity might end up if it refuses the challenge of the Superman. The last man is the ultimate couch potato. He seeks only comfort, security, and trivial pleasures. He takes no risks. He has no great passions or ambitions. Everyone is equal, but it is the equality of mediocrity. They have their little pleasure for the day and their little pleasure for the night. They think they have invented happiness, but it is a small, pathetic kind of happiness. Zarathustra presents the last man to the crowd, hoping to shock them into wanting something more from life. But to his horror, the crowd loves the idea. Give us this last man, O Zarathustra. Make us into these last men. This is a pivotal moment. Zarathustra realizes that the crowd is not ready for his teaching. They do not want to be challenged, they want to be comfortable. This vision of the last man is a powerful warning for our own time. It asks us to consider whether our modern pursuit of ease and entertainment is leading us towards a life of meaninglessness, a world where great achievements are no longer possible. At the end of the prologue, Zarathustra is left with a profound sense of purpose, but also with a deep feeling of loneliness. The crowd has rejected his difficult message in favor of the easy path of the last man. The rope dancer, the one person who seemed to understand courage, is dead. Zarathustra realizes he cannot teach the masses directly. They are not his students. Instead, he must seek out companions, individuals who are also ready to leave the herd and embark on the difficult journey of self-overcoming. He needs to find fellow creators, people who want to write new values upon new tablets. This conclusion is not one of despair, but of refined strategy. Zarathustra's initial attempt to teach everyone was perhaps naive. True change, Nietzsche suggests, does not begin with the masses. It begins with a few brave individuals who are willing to lead the way. These companions will be the first to strive for the Superman, and their example will, over time, inspire others. Zarathustra's task is to find these rare souls and to share his wisdom with them, creating a community of pioneers who will help to guide humanity towards its new, higher goal, like a lighthouse guiding ships through a storm. The ideas in Zarathustra's prologue are as relevant today as they were when Nietzsche wrote them. We live in an age of immense distraction, where the temptation of the last man is all around us. We are constantly offered easy comforts and simple pleasures that can prevent us from asking the bigger questions about our lives. Nietzsche's work is a powerful antidote to this. It reminds us that a truly meaningful life is not an easy one. It requires struggle, self-discipline, and the courage to create our own purpose, rather than accepting one that is handed to us by society. Ultimately, Thus Spoke Zarathustra offers an incredibly inspiring and life-affirming message. It tells us that we are not insignificant cogs in a machine. We are creators. We have the potential to become something magnificent. The idea of the Superman is not a distant, impossible dream. It is a daily practice. It is about choosing growth over comfort, courage over fear, and creativity over conformity. It is about looking at your life and asking, how can I make this a work of art? How can I become the person I was truly meant to be? Zarathustra gives us not a destination, but a direction upwards towards a new sun.